1111. Do you see it? I certainly do. I see it every single day. But what does it mean if you're seeing 1111 or other number sequences? If you're fascinated by number sequences, stay tuned and I'll share more in this video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Melissa and I'm a spiritual and intuitive coach helping you to develop your own psychic abilities and trust the messages of the guides around you. The key is to trust, right? So many people are stuck in doubt and second guessing because the reality is that our society has never really encouraged us to be psychic, to be spiritual beings. It's seen as weird or strange or even fearful. And that there's also a message that only some people can do that, not everybody. Well, I'm here to share with you that you are psychic, you are a spiritual being, and I'd love you to think about what are some of those psychic experiences that you've had in your life that maybe you pushed aside and you don't really think about. But everybody has had some kind of experience like that. Maybe they've interpreted it in a skeptical way, and that's fine. But for you, you're awakening, right? You're learning, how can I actually apply the spirituality, tools and gifts into my daily? So I take a really practical approach with this. You know, I'm not really woo-woo. I am woo, but what you're going to see is that you can apply this into your life and also keep that rational kind of logical part of you too. We're not going to push that aside, right? We're going to have a balance of both. The feeling nature, which is your spiritual gifts and tools and intuition, and the intellectual nature, which is really there to organize you and keep you directed and make good, clear decisions. Okay, so number sequences. Have you ever seen 1111? I know I see it every single day, and I have for years. I see it obviously on the digital clock, on my laptop, on my phone, but I also will see it on the car mileage. Like something makes me glance down when the car mileage gets to 111, right? There's so many different, I see it on my YouTube channel. Oh, this video's had 111 views. Like it just shows up in so many amazing ways. But what is it that's making us see these numbers? So one thing I want to share too is that maybe you have different numbers that you tend to see. So I always see the ones, but sometimes I see 222, sometimes I see 444. And I've heard from people that although 1111 does seem to be the most common one, sometimes you're going to see different numbers. But the key is that you're seeing it over and over and over again, and it just keeps showing up in your life. So if you are interested in what does each different number represent, like what does ones mean, what does twos mean, what does threes mean, sorry, you're watching the wrong video. One thing that I did when I was preparing for recording this video today is I went on Google and I said, interpreting number sequences. And I found multiple different blog posts interpreting what does the ones mean, what does the twos mean, what does the threes mean. And every single blog post interpreted the numbers differently. It shows that there isn't actually this universal interpretation of the numbers, that it is actually open to your interpretation. If there is a symbol that keeps showing up in your life over and over and over again, the solution is not to go to the internet or the book or the expert and say, okay, what does it mean when I see 333? Or what does it mean when I see owls coming in like all the time, when I know that there's not that many of that type of bird around, but I just keep seeing them everywhere? The answer is not to look out there for the answer. The solution is to interpret it for yourself. What does it mean to you? What does that represent? I'm going to share with you how I interpret it when I see 111, and that I think is sort of a strong truth, no matter what the symbol is. Don't worry so much about getting into the nitty-gritty details and figuring it out, because that is the intellect getting out of balance. That logical mind going, oh, I have to interpret it, I have to figure it out. So we get ourselves into trouble when we try to use our logical mind to interpret something that is actually an intuitive spiritual message. Because the logical mind is not intuitive and spiritual, it's logical. And that's where so many people get themselves all tied up in knots. So if you're going to interpret a number sequence or a symbol, do it from your intuition. Don't do it from your brain in your head and figuring it out. Do it from that feeling sense of what it means to me. Okay, so regardless of if you have a personal interpretation, which you probably will at some point, here's the general kind of universal truth of why we see these number sequences and symbols, etc. It's because you are energy, you are spirit, yet you live in a planet that is right now not really acknowledging your spiritual power. Planet Earth has become very materialistic. It's become very structured. It's become very intellectual. It's become very much judgmental, right and wrong, good and bad. It's become very competitive. And so we are immersed in that programming while we're in this environment. Now, I acknowledge there's going to be differences in different countries, etc. But I think we can all agree that no matter where you live in the world, there is some degree of outside pressure and expectation that is put on us that makes us forget that we are actually powerful spiritual beings. So when you see the number sequences, it's a reminder that you are powerful, that you are spiritual, that you are energy, and that you can connect spiritually with angels or guides, or maybe your loved ones if they decide to come and visit, or you can energetically set goals and manifest. You're being reminded of your power. And it's a sign in that moment that you're kind of transcending the physical and connecting in with the universal energy of spirit that is all around us. And we can feel that energy, and we can see that energy, and we can hear that energy, and we can sense that energy. But we do that with our spiritual gifts, right? We don't sense energy with our intellect. Every time you see that number sequence, remind yourself, yes, I am spirit, I'm connected, I'm part of the universe, I'm one and powerful. And sometimes we don't believe that we are powerful, or we maybe sometimes do, and then we falter, right? We doubt, well, am I really good enough? You are, you're powerful, you're spirit. And the more that you believe that, not in an egotistical way, but just in that confident, trusting way that you are powerful and that you are good, so is everybody else at the core, right? When you truly start to believe that, it's going to make the journey of connecting with your angels so much easier. I notice a lot of people awakening to their spiritual journey begins with seeing these kind of symbols and signs. I remember when I first moved into an apartment after going through a challenging divorce, it was such a significant kind of accomplishment for me at that time to say yes, right? After going through this difficult time in my life, I have my own place and I've accomplished this. It was a challenging time. And when I first moved into that apartment, I kept seeing pennies on the floor or on the table or everywhere. And I'm like, okay, logical mind says, there is nobody walking around this apartment dropping pennies everywhere. Where are they coming from? And then, but the spiritual part of me knew it was a sign. It was a confirmation from my angels that I am abundant. I'm on the right track, right? Pennies, the symbol of abundance, money. But it's not just the money that was the abundance. It was the fact that, yes, I've created a new life for myself. I'm in my own place and I am in the right place at the right time. And I think that's a great interpretation of number sequences too, is you are in the right place at the right time and you're connected and you're right where you need to be, right? So often we doubt ourselves when really we're on the right track already. It's just continuing to expand and try. So I would love to hear in the comments below, what numbers do you see? What amazing signs and symbols do you see? It's really fun to just hear what other people are experiencing, because the more that we share that we are having these kind of signs and symbols, the more you realize that, hey, everybody is having these kind of experiences. It's not weird. It's not unusual. It's powerful, right? So I'd love to hear what your experiences are in the comments below. And at a certain point, you'll be ready to actually have a deeper communication with your angels, not just kind of seeing random signs and, wow, that's cool, but actually having an open two-way communication with them. So that's why I really want to share with you that I have a course. It's online. It's available to you at any time. It's called the Communicate with Angels online course. And what's also included in that program, that course, is a private session. So you get some personal attention. You really learn some powerful, helpful tools to communicate with your angels and get answers to your questions. Because then you don't need to doubt yourself anymore. You trust in the decisions that you're making about those important areas of your life, and you know that you're aligned with your own timing and purpose. And that is such a beautiful place to be, being in the flow, trusting. So I hope that you will go ahead and check out the course. You can go to communicatewithangels.com/enroll. Depending on when you see this, there may be some also special bonuses to help you to really invest in yourself and get some additional value. So go to that page, check it out. I'll wait to see you maybe on our one-on-one session. See you soon.